It was just after 3:40 in the afternoon local time on the island of La Réunion when the camera started shaking. A plume of ash punched into the humid Indian Ocean sky, and within seconds, part of a steep volcanic cliff gave way in a roar of rock and steam. What viewers saw live was an eruption from Piton de la Fournaise, one of the most active volcanoes on Earth, followed by a dramatic collapse along its outer rim. Here's the quick status snapshot. According to the Observatoire Volcanologique du Piton de la Fournaise, abbreviated OVPF, seismic tremor began rising sharply about 30 minutes before the eruption. Instruments recorded more than 600 small volcano-tectonic earthquakes in the 24 hours leading up to the event, most clustered 1 to 2 kilometers deep, which is about 0.6 to 1.2 miles beneath the summit. GPS stations showed rapid inflation of up to 8 centimeters, roughly 3 inches, over the past week. France's civil protection authorities moved the alert to level 2-2, restricting access to the caldera. Early field reports indicate no injuries and no damage to homes, as the eruption is confined within the uninhabited Enclos Fouqué caldera. If you are seeing slightly different quake counts elsewhere, that is normal in the first hours, because networks use different station thresholds, and automatic detections get refined as analysts review the data. Let me explain what likely happened here in plain terms. Piton de la Fournaise is a shield volcano built by very fluid basaltic lava. Think of honey warmed in the sun, thin and able to flow easily, rather than thick ketchup that blobs and piles up. Over the past several days, magma appears to have intruded upward in a narrow crack called a dike. You can imagine the volcano as a loaf of bread with a knife slowly inserted from below. As that blade pushes up, it stretches the crust. The small quakes are the crust cracking to make space. Once pressure exceeds the strength of the overlying rock, magma reaches the surface along fissures, and tremor, the continuous shaking caused by moving magma, ramps up. Now, about the cliff collapse caught on camera. Steep volcanic rims are made of layered lava flows and loose tephra. When magma drains laterally or erupts downslope, it can subtly remove support, like pulling a book from the middle of a stack. Add heat, vibration, and gravity, and a section can fail suddenly as a rockfall or slump. At Piton de la Fournaise, such collapses are not unusual during eruptive phases, especially along the caldera walls where past lava has undercut the base. It looks dramatic, but within the restricted zone, it is a known hazard that scientists plan for. Let's go deeper into the data. OVPF's seismic network recorded peak tremor amplitudes comparable to the April 2020 eruption, which lasted 34 days. The current fissure length is estimated at about 700 meters, roughly 2,300 feet, based on drone overflights and satellite thermal imagery. Lava fountains have reached 30 to 50 meters high, about 100 to 165 feet. Initial lava flow rates are estimated at 5 to 10 cubic meters per second, which is 175 to 350 cubic feet per second. To picture that, imagine several fully loaded cement trucks of molten rock pouring out every second. Gas measurements show sulfur dioxide emissions around 1,200 tons per day, or about 1,320 short tons daily, according to mobile DOAS spectrometers deployed along the caldera rim. For context, during the February 2019 eruption, sulfur dioxide peaked near 3,000 tons per day. The deformation signal, 8 centimeters of uplift, was measured by continuous GPS stations and corroborated by INSAR satellite data over a 6-day window. Historical benchmarks matter here. This volcano has erupted more than 50 times since 1970, with most events staying inside the caldera. The rare exceptions that reached inhabited areas, like the 2007 eruption, were associated with higher effusion rates and longer-lived fissures. Human impact so far appears limited, and that is key. Local authorities closed access to hiking trails within the Enclos Fouqué and established a safety perimeter several kilometers from the active fissure. Air quality advisories were issued for downwind communities when the plume briefly drifted west, and residents were advised to limit outdoor activity if ashfall occurred. No evacuations have been ordered beyond routine precautionary closures. La Réunion Emergency Services are coordinating with OVPF scientists, and helicopter overflights are assessing slope stability where the cliff collapse occurred. The island has robust response protocols precisely because this volcano is so active. Now let us talk risk and scenarios, calmly and clearly. The most likely scenario is a moderate, weeks-long fissure eruption contained within the caldera, with lava flowing over previously emplaced fields. That is the pattern in the majority of recent events. Escalation would be signaled by sustained increases in tremor amplitude, rapid additional inflation, for example, another 5 to 10 centimeters in a few days, and a jump in earthquake rates above 800 to 1,000 per day at shallow depths. A shift of activity toward the caldera rim or outside it would also change the hazard picture. What about more dramatic outcomes? A major flank collapse generating a tsunami is considered low probability in this context. Such an event would require a much larger volume failure, millions of cubic meters, combined with rapid entry into the ocean. Today's observed collapse appears localized to a section of the caldera wall and did not involve coastal cliffs. Similarly, explosive activity is less likely with this low viscosity basalt, unless groundwater interacts with magma in a confined space. Scientists will be watching for signs of magma-water interaction, such as sudden ash-rich bursts or changes in gas chemistry, but there is no indication of that at this time. What to watch next over the coming days? Monitor seismic tremor trends, updated hourly, continuous GPS for any renewed inflation, and satellite thermal anomalies that track flow advance. OVPF typically issues situation reports at least once daily during eruptions, with additional bulletins if activity changes. Gas emission rates will be remeasured as wind conditions allow, and drones will map lava thickness and the stability of the collapsed cliff section. If activity wanes, you will see tremor decrease and deformation plateau. If it ramps up, those metrics will move first before dramatic surface changes. If you are on La Réunion or planning to visit, follow official guidance and respect closure zones. Ash can irritate lungs and eyes. Simple measures like staying indoors during ashfall and using a mask if you must go out can reduce exposure. And never approach active lava flows or unstable cliffs. Ground can look solid and fail without warning. The bottom line is this: what you saw live was a powerful but characteristic episode from one of the world's most closely monitored volcanoes. Science teams are on it, the alert system is functioning, and impacts are currently contained. We'll continue tracking the data and separating signal from noise, so you can stay informed without the hype. If this kind of clear, evidence-based coverage helps you, consider subscribing and sharing, because preparedness starts with understanding.